Welcome back, viewers. Here I am with a summary of the next work, a play written by William Congreve, that is The Way of the World. The Way of the World, 1700. William Congreve, 1670-1729. The Way of the World is a restoration comedy of manners written by William Congreve and first performed in 1700 at a Lincoln's Inn Fields Theatre in London. The play is considered one of the finest examples of a restoration comedy, a genre known for its witty dialogue, satire of upper-class society, and a complex plot centered around love, marriage, and deception. The play was written during the late 17th century, a period marked by the decline of Restoration drama. While earlier comedies celebrated libertinism, Congreve's work reflected a shift toward more refined wit and a moral sensibility, anticipating the later 18th century sentimental comedy. Although The Way of the World was not an immediate success, it later gained recognition as a masterpiece of restoration wit and a social satire. The play critiques marriage, social conventions, and inheritance laws, portraying a world where relationships are dictated by money, power, and deception. It is most famous for its intricate plot, sharp dialogue, and the proviso scene in which the protagonists negotiate the terms of the future marriage, a groundbreaking moment in a restoration drama. Now let's go to the detailed act-wise summary of the work. In Act First, we can see the introduction of the plot. The play begins in a London chocolate house where the protagonist, named Mirabelle, a witty and a charming gentleman, discusses his love for the character Millamant, a beautiful and independent woman, with his friend Fainall. Mirabelle wants to marry Millamant, but he faces obstacles. Millamant's aunt, Lady Wishfort, opposes the match because Mirabelle previously flirted with her. She controls Millamant's fortune, and Mirabelle must outsmart her to win both Millamant's hand and her inheritance. Meanwhile, we learn that Fainall is secretly plotting to secure his own financial future through his unfaithful wife, who has been having an affair with Mirabelle. In Act Second, there is schemes and deceptions. In a Lady Wishfort's house, Foible, that is Lady Wishfort's servant, helps Mirabelle carry out his plan. Mirabelle arranges for his servant Waitwell to disguise himself as a wealthy nobleman named Sir Rowland and pretend to court Lady Wishfort. If Lady Wishfort agrees to marry Sir Rowland, Mirabelle can then blackmail her into allowing his marriage to Millamant. Meanwhile, Mrs. Marwood, a bitter woman secretly in love with Mirabelle, overhears Mirabelle and Foible discussing the plan. Furious at Mirabelle's rejection, she decides to betray him to Lady Wishfort and join forces with Fainall to disrupt Mirabelle's plans. Act 3, the proviso scene. Millamant and Mirabelle engage in the famous proviso scene where they negotiate the conditions of their marriage. Millamant, an independent and intelligent woman, insists on certain freedoms in their marriage, such as the right to write poetry and maintain her wit, no excessive public displays of affection, no expectations that she must become a dull, obedient wife. Mirabelle agrees, proving that he respects her individuality. This scene is considered one of the most progressive portrayals of marriage in a restoration drama. Act 4. The unraveling of the plot. Mrs. Marwood informs Lady Bishfort about a Mirabelle scheme. Furious, Lady Bishfort cancels her engagement to Sir Rowland and swears to ruin Mirabelle. At the same time, Fainall demands control over Lady Bishfort's fortune, threatening to reveal his wife's affair with Mirabelle. Mirabelle, however, has one final trick up his sleeve. Act 5. The Resolution. Mirabelle reveals a secret legal document proving that Lady Bishfort's fortune does not belong to Fainall and that he has no power to blackmail her. When Fainall defected, Lady Bishfort is forced to agree to Mirabelle's marriage to Millamant. The play ends with Mirabelle and Millamant's engagement, symbolizing a marriage based on mutual respect and understanding rather than deception and power games. Now let's analyze the characters. First of all, we have Mirabelle, the witty and intelligent protagonist in love with Millamant. He is a master of deception, but ultimately genuine in his love. Next, we have Millamant, a strong, independent woman who refuses to be controlled by marriage. She represents wit, charm, and the changing role of women. Next up, we have Lady Bishfort, Millamant's aunt, an aging, vain widow who controls Millamant's fortune. She is gullible and desperate for romance, making her an easy target for deception. Next, we have Fainall, a deceitful and selfish man married to Lady Bishfort's daughter. He tries to gain control over her wealth through blackmail. Next, we have Mrs. Marwood, a bitter woman who secretly loves Mirabelle and betrays him when he rejects her. She aids Fainall's schemes. Next character, Foible, Lady Bishfort's witty maid who assists Mirabelle in her schemes. Waitwell is Mirabelle's servant disguised as Sir Rowland to deceive Lady Bishfort. Now let's analyze the themes in the book. Love and marriage. The play examines marriage not as a romantic ideal, but as a financial and a social contract. Mirabelle and Millamant's union represents a more modern view of marriage based on equality and respect. Next theme, deception and wit. Every character engages in manipulation and trickery, but Mirabelle's intelligence ultimately triumphs. The next theme, power and wealth. Marriage is often portrayed as a means to financial security, especially for women. Lady Bishfort and Fainall's actions revolve around money and inheritance. The next theme, feminism and female independence. Millamant stands out as a woman who refuses to be dominated by men, demanding personal freedom even in marriage. The last theme, hypocrisy of high society. Congreve mocks the artificiality of aristocratic manners, exposing how people use politeness to disguise selfish motives. Now let's analyze the setting of the work. The play is set in London high society, mainly in a Lady Bishfort's house and a social gathering places like the Chocolate House. The setting reflects the elite world of Restoration England, where reputation, inheritance, and a wit dictate social status. Now let's have a look at the criticism and interpretations later came. First of all, initial recognition of the play. The play was not an immediate success, as audiences at the time preferred more straightforward humor. Its complex wit and a layered deception were too sophisticated for some people. Later recognition. Over time, it has been recognized as one of the greatest comedies of manners, admired for its brilliant dialogue and a social critique. Feminist readings. Critics praise Milliman's character as an early example of female autonomy, contrasting with the submissive roles of women in earlier plays. Moral commentary. Some view the play as a warning about the dangers of deception and greed, while others see it as a celebration of wit and intelligence.